The name, covers, and even a logo of a story all serve a similar important role. That role is the first impression of a story. In most cases, they will be the first thing your audience will see. They serve as an important role in informing potential audiences what your story is about. What's the genre, setting, tone? A first impression provides the basic answer for all of these questions. While the first impressions are the first thing an audience will see of a story, they may be the last thing a storyteller figures out. It's best to decide what you want the first impression of your story to be once you have a solid idea of what could be expected in it. In this video, I would like to explain how I came up with the name and logo for my comic, Silver Road, as well as my thought process for making covers for the chapters. Naming something is an act of balance. An ideal name is digestible and easy to understand, but also descriptive and evocative. An ideal name is easy to remember, but not too plain depending on what your story needs. It's good to aim for specificity in a name. A perfect name would be able to describe your story, and only your story. However, this is highly improbable without making a name a short story in itself, or a word you made up. Absolute specificity may not be possible for most stories, but it's a good goal to aim for. Names can be literal or abstract. The name of your story may also be the name of a character or setting in the story. Names can also be a seemingly nonsense arrangement of words that are chosen to evoke a mood of the story. It's up to you which direction you go in. An example of how I come up with names is the name of this series of videos, How I Make My Comic. I chose to exclude Silver Road from the name of this series because my goal is for it to be accessible to a wide audience, and including the actual name of my comic would limit the audience to just anyone interested in the comic. Still, I chose my comic because I still wanted to connect back to my own experience making Silver Road. This series isn't exclusively about Silver Road, but my process for making it, so I chose a name that communicates that goal. I want to strike the balance between objective instructional videos, or videos specifically covering behind the scenes of my comic, to create a series that shows my perspective in making a comic, and I chose a name to reflect this. When I came up with the name Silver Road, I had a few ideas in mind that I wanted the first impression of my comic to be. These ideas were things like fantasy, road trips, magic, spirits, and space. I wanted it to both feel abstract and a literal representation of an element in the story. Without going into specifics, the Silver Road is a term from the world of my comic. I know what it means, but audiences wouldn't at first. The details of what Silver Road means are revealed over the course of the story. As of now, its meaning hasn't been revealed in the comic, but there are details of the story here and there that allude to its meaning. A mysterious name like that can hook an audience, and bring some satisfaction as the story reveals the reason behind its name. The words silver and road are also, on their own, literal representations of things in the story. The characters are on a road trip, which obviously heavily features roads. Silver is also a recurring element in the story, seen in some of the settings and villains. All in all, Silver Road was chosen because it evokes a magical, modern, and otherworldly tone. It evokes an idea of different worlds and experiences colliding, juxtaposing, and integrating with each other all at once. Its meaning is obscure at first, but becomes revealed as parts of the story and world are explored. A logo represents the story in the form of a simple small image or text. It has the advantage of being able to integrate shape and color language into the first impression, since it is an image. They are often designed to be legible and distinct, since they are ideally a quick read at a small size. For the Silver Road logo, I decided for it to be the name of the story in a fancy font. There's also a simpler version of the logo, which is just the S. For the Silver Road logo, I was inspired by logos for brands such as Disney and Coca-Cola. The Disney logo evokes a fantastical feeling, which felt appropriate for my fantasy world. The Coca-Cola logo to me also evokes the feeling of diners, and by extension, road trips, which is a significant element of my story. Both of those logos have elaborate and flowy lettering, so that is something I want to implement into the Silver Road logo. When I designed the logo, I wrote Silver Road in one of the Photoshop fonts, and then added my own embellishments to it. The shape language of Silver Road's logo reflects the story's use of juxtaposition. The story is mundane and fantastical at the same time, so the logo should communicate this idea. I ended up with a logo that feels Art Deco and Art Nouveau at the same time. Art Deco feels modern and futuristic, and features sharp geometric shapes. Art Nouveau feels naturalistic and antique, and features soft flowing shapes. The Silver Road logo matches qualities of both of these design styles. The sharp, bold shapes of the lettering is reminiscent of the themes of modernity, space, and tech in the story. The The soft flowing shapes of the lettering is reminiscent of the themes of nostalgia, magic, and the natural world. Covers are larger images that represent a story, or sections of it. Just like names and logos, they can be any level of vague to straightforward, or simple to detailed. With covers, there's a lot more room for details that wouldn't fit into a name or logo. There aren't a lot of limits on covers, but just like a name or logo, an ideal cover gives an effective first impression of its story. For my covers, I like to lean on the conceptual side, since the pages of my comic are already straightforward depictions of what's happening in the story. A cover is a good opportunity to get weird. You may choose a different level of conceptual depending on what your story is. A novel, lacking illustrations, could benefit from a more straightforward cover to show what the story looks like, for example. Still, my Silver Road covers are representational enough, so it's recognizable to the story. My covers often include the characters of the Silver Road. The cover for A Ghost at Silver Lake is also the first chapter cover of my entire comic, so it had the role of being a first impression for the whole story. The cover looks like a grainy photo of the four main characters with a ghost behind them. The characters are taking a fun group photo, which introduces the wholesome energy of the story. Still, the ghost in the background adds a sense of tension and mystery. The tone is Silver Road, and the relationship between the characters is established in the cover, while the ghost in the background previews an important plot point in the chapter. The photo in the cover isn't canon to the plot of the story, but it communicates the idea of what happens. The cover of the chapter, Do You Even Love Her, is being drawn in this time-lapse. Because music is a prominent theme of this chapter, I wanted this cover to look particularly conceptual and abstract. The cover shows the head of an important character in this chapter, with her hair, tears, and closed eyes replaced with negative space. The background looks like flowing water, also featured prominently in the chapter, so the cutout features appeared to be one in the background. I wanted this cover to feel somber and broken. Whoever this character is seems to be at one with or overwhelmed by the water and her feelings. This cover provides an idea for what or who may be featured in this chapter, as well as emotions that may be felt. The meaning is left vague, but everything comes together to make a striking and attention-grabbing image. If you're making a story, ask yourself what's the first thing you want an audience to know about your story. Then you can find out what's the best name or anything else to communicate that idea. How complicated or simple you make it depends on what you think is best. I hope you enjoyed this video. Goodbye, everybody. Sam wishes you well.